So Bristol City get us started. The reverse fixture taking place back in September, the very start of the season, at the St Mary's Stadium. And it was Lexi Lloyd-Smith that scored the only goal in that match with just 2 minutes left to play. So a late winner there for the Robins. And of course, we had the Women's FA Cup on the 18th of January, as Southampton went ahead actually in the first half through McAloney. And then it was Emily Syme that brought them level in the 78th minute. And it wasn't until extra time that Bristol City were able to claim their winner. So Southampton would have felt slightly hard done by that result. Speaking in his pre-match interview a little bit earlier on, Simon Parker, manager for the Saints, was saying how adaptable his team can be. And he believes that they can come through and capitalise on whatever this game throws at them, whether it's sitting back and being resilient and counter-attacking when necessary, or being out on the front foot and controlling the game. He believes either could be advantageous to the Saints. Charlotte Healy, on the other hand, saying how she believes her side performed best when in control of the match. And Bristol City are looking to regain control after coming off a loss to Crystal Palace last time out. Well, an early free kick here. Amy Palmer wandering over. She then makes her way down the sideline. It's going to be Bourne that takes control of this. Well, it's a good delivery early on. Primus is the one that rose to try and take it goalward. It wasn't quite enough, but enough to make Bristol City hearts flutter a little bit. It was a very good delivery, wasn't it? Primus knows that was a good early chance. Hands on her head. But now Southampton trying to keep that momentum goalward. Tegan McGowan getting a touch on it for the first time today, and it wasn't a bad attempt. A little bit more power perhaps, and she may have seen some more success there. Bentley doing well to get down to that bottom right corner. Well, Bourne over to Simpson. McGowan tries to turn and run. She's got Powell for company. That's an excellent block from Ella Powell. Powell, of course, going off injured in the very early stages of the reverse fixture, so she'll be hoping to get some more minutes this afternoon. And we can see already just how muddy the pitch is. The relentless rain we've had so far in 2026 and making conditions very difficult. The ground staff doing an excellent job of making sure this pitch is in good nick. And it's a scramble from the corner. Southampton definitely coming out on the front foot in these opening 5 minutes. It's a great delivery towards the back post. Struck, the only one really able to defend that before it pinballed around the box. And ultimately, the ball was out of play. But Bristol City here now with their first chance of real possession on the ball, and it's sent up the pitch. Chased by Jessie Gale. Bristol City doing well to win the ball back there. It comes over to Robinson. Some quick feet, quick passes from the Robins. But ultimately the Saints regain control in the midfield, and now they look to build once again. Robinson, dispossessed. Kept in well by Simpson. Mari Ward is going to take this throw in. She doesn't want to hang around too much. Right, that's a long ball over and poses no real threat at all to Fran Stenson. Lloyd Smith looking for some quick footwork. Bristol City definitely looking to be in that promotion race at the moment. They're sat third in the league as things stand. 26 points to their tally. I've got Birmingham just ahead of them with 29 points. They're eager to try and close that gap. Crystal Palace just behind them in fourth with 25 points. So things very congested in those top four. Southampton sat in sixth, 21 points to their name, with Newcastle just ahead of them with 23. So both teams really trying to push on and make their way up the table, but Bristol City, eyes on a return to the top flight. Well, Palmer. Simpson races towards it, but it's beaten there by Powell. Bristol City just starting to warm up into this game slightly. Struck passes back. Bentley. And the Robins just slowing it down in an attempt to control this game. Liv Vosch, the new signing for Bristol City. The Polish international was part of the Euro 2025 squad. Has signed a 3-year deal with the Robins. And has spoken about how she aims to be a game changer. A mentality she learnt growing up, and when she thinks back, it was playing with her uncles that taught her so much about football. Bristol City now starting to apply some pressure. And it's a good clearance. It's Ellie Hack making sure that the Saints lines remain clear. It's a good ball in. Lloyd Smith looking to try and get something on it. Well, Tegan McGowan, it's got to be said, looking full of energy. The 21-year-old joined on loan from Birmingham City in January. And has already made a difference to that Southampton side. Well, the atmosphere picking up at the Ashton Gate Stadium. Bristol City, a side with plenty of history and plenty of successes through the years, and if they can regain promotion this season, they can start to build again in the Women's Super League. Runners-up back in 2013. Won the championship, of course, when it was known as that back in 2023, but Bristol City trying to attack now. There's a good cross from Jessie Gale, but not quite enough speed on it to beat Stenson to it. He was able to just safely scoop it up before it met any Robin shirts on the other end. Well, the ball straight back out for a second throw-in. It'll be Ward that takes it again. Lloyd Smith to receive it. And Ward sends it in. It's headed up by Gale. It's a big looping header. Lloyd Smith tries to find it, but she's held off by Ellie Brazil. Well, Simpson goes through looking for McGowan. It's a good block. The Southampton throw-in pauses the momentum in this match once again. Taken by Simpson, finds Primus. Well, that's a great ball up. And Ward did very well to get that back and keep it in play. And now Bristol City trying to get through the entourage of Southampton shirts. Ward again looks to find the cross. Unable to control it really, and it sails into the stands. So I'm just trying to wait for these players to get organised. Good delivery. Vosh sends it out towards the edge of the box. Robertson was chasing down. It's cleared by Southampton for a very neat flick on by Lasada. Now McGowan. Southampton doing well to stay in possession. There's a few protests there, and Lasada thought she'd gotten away with it. Well, first quarter of an hour gone, and both sides starting to sharpen up. Southampton definitely started a little bit brighter and have had more attempts on goal than Bristol City, but Bristol City starting to regain a little bit of control in this match as they warm into it. Well, Bashford sends it back, and Stenson able to assess from the back. Well, Southampton enjoyed a slightly extended spell of possession there, but now Lexi Lloyd-Smith looks to start a bit of a movement. The momentum's just slowed down. But Bristol City trying to break their way through. Jessica unable to wrestle the defender off the ball there. I believe that was Ellie Hack, who was just too stubborn to give it in. Well, Southampton almost opening up some space there. A slight setback as Robinson just managed to poke the ball back through towards the Southampton back line, but they're rebuilding quickly, moving the ball around at a real pace. And Simpson looked to make a run then, but the ball found a red shirt instead. Powell back to Bentley. Powell making a run down this right-hand side over to Robinson. That's excellent bit of footwork, and then Lloyd-Smith unable to win that ball back. It was shielded well by Chloe Peplow. Peplow joining Southampton back in 2023. Permanently, of course, she did have a loan spell with the Saints. Well, Bristol City in behind enemy lines here, and Robinson looks to take a shot. It's blocked from Robinson again. And Fran Stenson is able to keep the scoreline at 0-0. Deadlock unbroken. First shot blocked, and the second one in safe hands. Stenson, of course, nominated for Save of the Season last season, so we know she's got some pretty spectacular saves in her. And that one was no trouble for her. Palmer through her back line, perhaps a slightly dangerous move with Syme there poised to strike, but Bristol City have managed to regain possession, and Lasada right in the middle heads back towards Powell, and Powell decides the safest bet to keep possession is head back to Bentley. Palmer just beats Lasada to it, and Southampton almost getting themselves behind that Bristol City back line. Well, it's been a pretty even opening 25 minutes or so. Lloyd Smith can be a huge difference maker for Bristol City, and she almost set up a wonderful goal there, but just wasn't quite right. Possession fairly even in this game so far. Bristol City registering just the one shot, though, to Southampton's 3 in these early stages. Neither team has been able to capitalise and close it off yet, though. And the score remains 0-0. And Jessie Gale just beaten to it there by Ellie Hack. The 23-year-old, integral in the Southampton defence. Or Ingle to Lloyd Smith. Finds Robinson. Robinson in a good position here, crosses it over. And there was another chance for Bristol City. And just no one able to get on the end of it. Emily Syme just not quite pacey enough to get there. And the Robins have to start building from the back again. Lasada goes for Lloyd Smith, but a good block. And the interception eventually heads out for a Bristol City throw-in. Here's that cross from Robinson. It's just a little too ahead of the Bristol City attack. Well, a bit of a tussle there eventually ends in a free kick for Southampton. It's going to be Hack that takes this, and she goes backwards. And Stenson distributes the ball out over to that left-hand side. Well, the referee just having words with Simon Struck. Aaron Ford, the referee this afternoon. As he just directs back that Southampton free kick, making sure no extra yards are gained unfairly, and it's a good delivery into the box. But safe hands from Fran Bentley are met by big, big cheers by the home crowd. The home crowd that will be eager to see some goals as this match progresses. Rebound off Ingle, finds its way to Palmer. Finds Primus, back to Palmer, and now over onto the right wing. Well, the ball goes into the box, and good defending from Bristol City so far. Struck and Ingle both getting the ball away. And the Saints are forced backwards. Well, the clearance from Vosh led to a bit of a tussle for the referee, blew his whistle. A few complaints from Tegan McGowan, and we'll get a better look at that there. You can see she just goes to ground, doesn't she? She looks okay. A bit of a knock, but nothing too much more than that. I'm sure she'll get it assessed at half-time, should it be needed. But half an hour played at the Ashton Gate Stadium, and it's still 0-0. Possession has been relatively even. Bristol City perhaps enjoying slightly more of it, but only just. 2 shots to Southampton's 3. Both teams with just 1 on target so far. And there we have some treatment going on for Fran Stenson, the Southampton goalkeeper. Stenson looks fine to continue. So players find their positions again. Struck. Gets play back underway, and Bristol City are looking to try and find their way through, but Gale's cross was met by Ellie Hack, who has been brilliant this afternoon so far. Syme poised to take this corner. And the header just sails over onto the top netting. Well, Southampton looking to break here, and they're surrounded by red shirts. And plenty of the Robins being able to get themselves back. But it was a good move through, and there's a few shouts there as Southampton have a player down in the area, but play continues. It's a great effort from Mary Bashford, who sends it just over the top. That's Bashford. On to Collett, who had a bit of a penalty shout there, but there was nothing in it the ref decided before Primer sends it back. And there it is, the volley that just went slightly over the bar. But Southampton looking alive, looking sharp after that brief interlude we had at around the half-an-hour mark. Well, Robinson. Back to Powell. It's a bit chaotic in that midfield, but Southampton are able to regain control, but a very loose pass sees Struck scoop it up, and Bristol City can restart their attack. It's a good ball over the top. And it's just out of play. Robinson not quite able to get there. Well, Simpson takes the throw in. It's passed straight back to her as she sends it over to that right-hand side. There's acres of space that side. Ellie Brazil looking dangerous. She tries to find the pass in. It's well defended. That will go out for a corner. There's a tall figure of Ellie Brazil. Is looking sharp, looking dangerous. She is Southampton's top goal scorer, remember. ranked 10th in the league so far this season with 5 goals to her name. And already causing problems on that goal line for this corner. As Lloyd Smith does her best to mark her, and delivery goes in and it's punched away. Bentley does well there. And it's out for another corner. It's another good delivery. A good clearance now. Southampton are forced back into their own half. Peplow assesses the way forwards and decides that her back line is the best option as things stand. That's good work from Palmer, who passes it in towards the middle, but the Saints just running into a bit of trouble there, and they have won themselves a free kick. Well, Powell doing well there to stop the ball coming any closer in towards the area, but she has sent it out for another Southampton corner, and they've looked strong from their corners so far. Primus, captain of Southampton. She could well be dangerous from this corner, and the players slightly more spread out for this one. It's gotten very, very busy in that 6-yard box in previous set pieces. And now the swarm makes its way towards the line, but Bentley punches away again. McGowan tries to send it back in, but only meets Simon. Simon starts the counter. And Southampton are able to reclaim possession and slow it right down and thwart any sort of attempt that Bristol City may have had in store. Well, 40 minutes played and neither side able to find their way through and break the deadlock so far, but Simon again over on the left wing, winning the battle against McGowan this time, and Simon crosses in, unable to find Gale. But that was perhaps the best Bristol City have looked in this first half, and you can tell by the cheers and from the crowd, pleased at what they saw there, and hopefully they can feed off that momentum. Lasada, former Champions League winner with Barcelona back in 2021. Brings plenty of experience to the side, and one of the reasons why she's named captain. Some strong leadership from the Robins number 8, but Syme again over on the left-hand side, but the whistle goes and play will pause. The flag up. Well, Brazil tries to pass it down the sideline, but it does just go out of play. Robinson finds Lloyd Smith. Over to Ingle. Ingle heads forward to Simon, who goes down. That will be a free kick in a very dangerous area. A late challenge from Southampton there brings Simon down. And it's going to be intriguing to see what Bristol City decide to do with this one. And it is a yellow card shown to Chloe Peplow. I see a very late challenge there as Simon was just starting to make her way forwards. And what can Bristol City do with this? But it's Bosch that goes for it. It stays low. And she does make the way all the way to the keeper, but it's saved. As Fran Stenson easily scoops it up. The ground level ball had some pace on it, but it wasn't enough. As the new signing was able to make it through the wall. Well, Ingle looking for Gale there, but there was just nobody in the space. Well, Bristol City perhaps looking the most organised we've seen them in this opening 45. Lloyd Smith, dispossessed by McGowan. There you go, another 120 seconds left of this first half. And neither side able to break through at the moment. Will we see an opening goal before that whistle goes? Well, it's going to be another free kick for Bristol City. Well, the ball sent in, but nothing really came of it, and Bristol City unable to capitalise on what might be their final opportunity of this first half. McGowan now in behind that Bristol City line, and she crosses it through to Prime. And Prime is unable to do anything with it this time round, but McGowan! And it's an unexpected goal She looks in a bit of pain. Celebrations are instantly muted. And that won't be how Southampton wanted their lead to come about. McGowan with what will be her second goal for Southampton. And we can see exactly what happened here. She got in behind Powell really well, crossed it through. Primus sending it back with a slight deflection. And McGowan just overstretching and with a collision there with Fran Bentley's boot. Completely by accident, of course, you could see it was just those two getting tangled. She'll be thoroughly assessed at half-time, I'm sure, and the medical team will make sure she's fit to continue. But Southampton are ahead. Well, Bristol City with very little time to respond. And of course, Southampton in no rush really to get this play back underway, as they hope to hear that whistle. And there it is, half-time. Well, underway in this second 45. Bristol City 0, Southampton 1. And the Robins will have to fight to try and get themselves on level terms here. Southampton have looked slightly more aggressive, slightly sharper in the majority of areas. Bristol City struggling to find any control of this match, really. They had a few brighter moments towards the end of that first half. But then the well-deserved opener by Tegan McGowan will have disrupted that rhythm, and the Robins will have to really work to get it back. Well, as Megan Collett should be the one to take this throw in and sends it into the penalty area. And it's scooped up nice and easily by Bentley. And sends it back out into the field of play. Well, Brazil sending it up. And now Primus, the one giving chase. She does get there first. She looks to find the option there, and it is Ellie Brazil who is dispossessed, and Maury Ward, the one that does that. And that distinctive taping around her knees. Well, Ingle, the one that takes that free kick very quickly. Bristol City not really wanting to give Southampton the time to get organised, and best if play just flows. Ingle running into a bit of trouble, but Syme reclaims the ball and sends it back to the Robins defence, and now Southampton are on the break. It's a through ball looking for Primus, and Struck is the one that does scoop it up, and Powell dispossessed. Southampton looking dangerous as Bristol City scramble to clear their lines, and Lexi Lloyd-Smith ends up with it and starts the counter-attack for Bristol City. The ball goes up to that right wing. It's cut in, and Syme almost gets on the end of it. It will go out for a Southampton goal kick, as Emily Syme not quite able to do anything with that one. But Bristol City regrouping well there after a chaotic start to that. Well, Southampton still looking very sharp. When they get the ball, they are moving very, very quickly, and the passes are coming at quite a rate that Bristol City can't really keep track of it. Collett takes the throw into Primus, who finds Brazil. Brazil with the cut-in, goes for goal in the end. Fran Bentley the one, able to stop that. Brazil, of course, debuting for the club at the start of this season as she signed from Charlton. She had a great playing career at Charlton, actually. Players' Player and Player of the Year. And she's clearly brought that enthusiasm and leadership and direction to this Southampton side. Ward able to hold off Primus as the ball is sent back to Bentley. Still no way through here. But now Southampton look to try and get a second, and Palmer has a good opportunity there, and it's just directed wide of goal, and they rebuild and try again for another. Excellent from Fran Bentley. No panic at all from her as Collett sends it back for Palmer, and the headed deflection finds Palmer again before Peplo sends a long ball in, and it's a very strong effort looking for that top corner, and Bentley doing very well to keep that out of goal. Well, Southampton have come out brightly, haven't they? They ended that first half on a high, and they've been able to carry it forward through the break. Bristol City, again, just slightly on the back foot. Brazil with a good interception now. She's got Primus over to her right-hand side, and she can't quite find her. Ward intercepts. And after being forced backwards, the Saints are starting to build again. That's an excellent bit of play from Brazil there, and Collett crosses it in. McGowan, our goal scorer from earlier on, of course, and here we see that play once again. Collett just sending it in, and Ella Powell with some spectacular dives to try and keep that away. Well, Simon Parker there. He's previously coached at the Sirens, which is Southampton Women's FC. The difference is Southampton FC. And had a 89% win rate over at the Sirens, which is really quite impressive. And he was saying in his pre-match interview that he believes his side can capitalise on whatever is required of them today, whether that's being in control or being reactive and responsive, transitional, should the game call for it, and if Bristol City were in control. And I think it's safe to say he was right. His team have done very well so far and are currently 1-0 up, but Bristol City doing all they can to try and regain some momentum. There's a very strong shoulder barge off the ball there, and Jessie Gale couldn't really do anything about it. The strength from Tara Bourne there. Only 22, it's a great deal of confidence she's shown on the pitch today. The young Lioness has had call-ups from age groups under 15 all the way through to under 23. And a bit of wrestling going on in the midfield there. The play will pause for a moment. It looks like Mary Bashford perhaps in a bit of discomfort after that. She kind of slipped and was dragged down and pulled Vosh down with her. And that is Vosh entering the book. Well, the free kick used and organised well, and a looping ball over the top of the majority of players finds itself safely with Fran Bentley. Collett sends it in and comes off the head of one of the Southampton players before being scooped up by Bentley and picked out of the air. Syme passing back to Struck, back to Syme, who turns. The Bristol City playmaker tries to find a way through, and it finds Robinson, who's then dispossessed, and Stenson just toying with her a little bit there. running the clock down slightly. Southampton in no rush to keep play moving too fast. Well, with the whistle, we have got a couple of substitutions. Michaela McCloney replacing Chloe Pepwell. Pepwell has had a good game so far, but some fresh legs in the form of McCloney. The Scottish player, of course, scoring 3 in her first 2 fixtures this season. And big cheers to the departure of Lexi Lloyd-Smith. She's put in a good shift today as number 9. Rio Hardy is introduced. Hardy sharing the top spot for goals in the league this season with Lloyd-Smith. Also scoring 7. They are joint highest in the league. Well, Asada. Bit of strapping on that quad, but doesn't seem to be impeding her too much at the moment. But Southampton now turning as Brazil tries to beat the ball, but isn't quite able to catch up, and Bentley rolls it back out into play. Well, Gale, the good bit of work through the midfield, and she'll have a free kick that's taken very quickly, and the referee actually just pulls it back after a tussle, and she's been dragged back by the Southampton midfield. Bristol City needing to just get themselves a little more organised in this second half. We've surpassed that 60-minute mark, and there are points where they're just looking a little bit frantic still. Southampton perhaps being just slightly more in control of the possession they've had. Charlotte Healy will be wanting to rectify that defeat to Crystal Palace. They did lose 2-1 in their last fixture. She does have a focus on developing the young talent in the club, Charlotte Healy. It's done them well so far this season, but they've perhaps not had the run of form they'd have wanted recently. Oh, Collett sends the ball in, and it's defended well. And sent behind for a goal kick in the end. Well, Bashford. Bristol City leaving themselves wide open there. As Mary Bashford took her chances, but Robins needing to get themselves more organised if they want to get back in this game. 25 minutes of normal time still to play. There is plenty of time for an equaliser or for the Saints to double their lead, and they're going to try here. Bashford again gets it away. Defended well by Struck. Both attempts just deflected and bounced away from goal. McGowan. Back to Simpson. McGowan again. Over on that far left wing. Tries to cross it in, but Powell deflects and the ball loops up into the air. Ella Powell having a considerably better game than she did in the reverse fixture, coming off injured in the opening 10 minutes back in September. Well, the ball comes in close to that front post than anything else, and Rio Hardy's the one that gets there and is able to clear the lines. Hardy, some fresh legs in this Bristol City side, and hopefully someone that can help give the team a little bit more structure. Hardy, of course, signing from Rangers in the summer, where she had plenty of experience in the Champions League. And that experience will be invaluable to the Robins in their bid for promotion. High stakes, high pressure. But Brazil showing her pace there as she moved through and was just about able to win the ball, but unable to do much with it before it was eventually knocked behind for a corner. You see, she just outpace the two Bristol City defenders there, but it is Powell that is able to just knock it behind the goal. Tara Bourne takes it. Sends it out wide towards that back post. Good delivery, but just slightly too much on it. And no one able to use that one. Well, McAloney doing her best to cause trouble there. But Hardy looked for a moment like she might break through, and free kick to Southampton. Hardy just catching the toe of Amy Palmer. And Southampton deciding the best use of that free kick is to build out in an organised fashion from the back. That's a good interception. And Bristol City doing their best to make their way through in the form of Emily Syme, who has to perform some gymnastics to avoid Stenson. Well, Collett passes through and it's met by a red shirt as he goes out for a throw-in. Bristol City will take possession of this one as Michaela McAloney unable to really keep hold of it. Well, Megan Collett's had a good second half so far. We've just seen her flash up on the screen, and she's been quite an active member of this Southampton side, especially in these second 45. She's come through the ranks at Southampton. She is proudly claimed as one of their own. Won several junior and youth titles with them before graduating. Well, Stanton looking slightly indignant there that she did a great job of shielding the ball, and Robinson having perhaps a little bit too much momentum behind her, ending up just running into the back of her and giving her a bit of a shove. And I think part of that was perhaps just frustration. Well, Gemma Lawley coming on then to replace Liv Bosch. Lasada is replaced by Vera Jones, number 23. Perhaps some fresh legs is exactly what we need to see from this Bristol City side if they want that equaliser, if they want to bring a point away from this game. Ward trying to turn. And she finds Gale. Gale sends it in, and Bristol City have an opportunity here. Robinson still with the ball. Robinson again. Forced out wide. And the throw-in taken very quickly. Robinson wanting to keep hold of some momentum. Ingle. Through to Jones. Jones just being wrestled off the ball by Primus. And Southampton are released down this left-hand side. McAloney nudges it inward, and that will be a free kick to Southampton, as Jones looks confused as to why player's been stopped. She won't want to have conceded that. It's a free kick. It is in a dangerous area. You can see here she just comes in a little bit from behind. Well, Tara Bourne, the one that's taking it. And she decides to go short. Over to Amy Palmer. Palmer into the penalty area. Goes out towards Simpson, who sends it sailing over. Jess Simpson just unable to gauge that one correctly. And Bentley will have a free kick. Unable to keep it down. Just wasn't to be for Jess Simpson. But Southampton are trying again, and it does just roll out behind goal. 15 minutes of regular time still to play. Bristol City 0, Southampton 1. That was Tegan McGowan on your screen just a second ago. The goal scorer, the one that made the difference at the break. From a very tight angle, it's got to be said. It was a very tricky one. And she nestled it into the top corner. Well, there's your possession so far. 41% for Southampton in their attacking third. 45% of play in that midfield. Bristol City just struggling to have much success and much kind of opportunity as they look to attack. Southampton having the stronger of the two second halves. Possession remaining somewhat even between the two sides, but the areas of that possession speaks volumes, doesn't it? And Southampton had 13 shots in total to Bristol City's 5, sorry. And Primus gets the shot away, and it's well defended by Fran Bentley, who does knock it behind. And you can see she was just going for that bottom corner, wasn't she? And Bentley was able to get a hand to it and knock it out of play. The corner poses yet another threat, though. As Southampton line themselves up once again. And it's sent in, and it loops around, and I thought for a second we were finding it in that bottom corner, but Bristol City can breathe a sigh of relief. McAloney going for the volley there, and it was just deflected away, wasn't it? Before the ball eventually heading out of play for a goal kick. Jones in a tussle with Hack, and Hack sends it up the pitch. As Powell is the one able to defend, and Bristol City are trying to make the most of this opportunity, and a big push there. A big push from Gale. Sends Collett flying over Stenson. So here's a good turn by Jones. As Collett looks to just cut behind the keeper, and that push sends her completely off balance as she soared over Bentley. A decent turnout at the Ashton Gate Stadium today. There's been good support for Bristol City. In the few moments of magic that they've had, there's been some very enthusiastic cheers and support behind them. And Charlotte Healy will be instructing her side on how best to make the most of these final 10 minutes or so. Collett looking a little bit sore after that, but she does jog off the pitch and hopefully she'll be okay to continue. No hard feelings clearly between her and her competitors there, as she's just high-fived and apologised too as she moves to the sidelines before being welcomed back onto the pitch. There's of course the rules for a player to be reintroduced if they've had to see the medic. Well, 10 minutes of normal time left to play. Southampton still edging ahead. They'll be fighting now to keep it that way. It's been difficult for them to beat Bristol City over previous seasons. It was 2 draws last year for them, a loss in the FA Cup a few weeks ago and a loss in the reverse fixture back in September. It really would be quite momentous for Southampton to break that streak and take all 3 points here. And a bit of a tug on the shirt of Vera Jones, and McGowan will have to accept that possession goes back as she passes the ball over to the Robins for this free kick.
Replacement for Southampton, leaving the field number 15, Ellie Hack, being replaced by number 5, Amy Goddard.
Well, Goddard coming on for Ellie Hack then. Hack has been brilliant so far in these opening 80 minutes, or the first 80 I should say. Some great blocks and deflections in that opening 45. She really helped shift the momentum in Southampton's favour. Well, Goddard, the vice-captain for Southampton, entering the pitch. A defensive switch to try and keep that back line fresh. Well, Primus running into a bit of traffic there, but she makes her way through. It's an excellent bit of play, and McAloney there. A slight tug on her shirt, but it's not stopping her yet. McAloney goes wide. Southampton pushing for a second here. Primus out to Collett. Collett again. Sends it in, and it's a fantastic save from Fran Bentley. He gets himself right in the middle to hold the scoreline at 1-0. See Collett just looking for Brazil there. But Bentley able to get a clean stop. Well, McAloney sending it back up the pitch, and it's been a yellow card just flashing up on your screen for Amy Palmer. That would have been for the tug on the shirt in that previous bit of play, but we've got another substitution now.
Midfield, number 7, Katie Robinson, being replaced by number 19, Maria Ferrugia.
Well, Ferrugia entering the field of play for Katie Robinson.
Also leaving the field, number 2, Ella Powell.
Ella Powell also has her game come to the end, as Esther Morgan is introduced. Well, Charlotte Healy will be hoping that Ferrugia can bring a bit of attacking spark in these dying minutes now. And the tussle there ends up with Gale on the floor with a Bristol City free kick. Emily Syme poised over it. And Syme sends the ball in. It's a good delivery. And Bristol City thought they might make something of that, but they're unable to do so. And play will pause here. Well, after a slight knock, it perhaps looks like the ball to the side of the head for the Southampton defence. It is a corner, and Syme takes it. And it's headed up and over, just finding the roof netting by Gemma Lawley. It was only just onto the roof netting, wasn't it? Perhaps the closest that Bristol City have come in this second half, as they have just 5 shots to Southampton's 18 recorded. Southampton now trying to break through, and just being pulled back is McCloney. Mari Ward determined not to let her pass, but McCloney finds her way in. She looks like she's about to try and cut through, but runs into a little bit of bother. Passes backwards instead. Bashford out wide to Collett, who looks to try and find the cross, and Syme defends well. Syme looking perhaps a little bit stiff as we head into the final few moments. She wanders back towards that penalty area. That's a good corner. That ends up curling over and behind the net. Just misjudged the curl on it. And Simpson jogs her way back up the pitch. Well, Ruby Tucker joins the fun now as goal scorer Tegan McGowan makes way. Tucker making the move from Aston Villa earlier this season, of course, where she spent her entire career. Capped at 2 European tournaments for the young Lionesses as well. Very bright young attacker. And there's no sense of urgency from Southampton now as the clock begins to run down. Ward takes the throw in. It's sent straight back out again, and it'll be Ward taking the next as well. And there you go, 4 minutes additional time. 4 minutes for Bristol City to find an equaliser. 4 minutes for Southampton to defend and take home all 3 points. Primus sends it up towards goal, and Brazil just dinks it over the keeper, and Southampton find themselves 2 goals ahead. Now that is a superb way to start stoppage time. Ellie Brazil giving Southampton reason to celebrate, reason to enjoy. And the next 3 minutes or so can be played out in a joyful fashion for the Saints. Well, Bristol City trying unsuccessfully to hold possession there, and Southampton have been unrelenting, but it will be a Bristol City throw-in. The Reds trying to find something in this game. It's not been their day. They've struggled to find their flow. They've struggled to find the momentum, their rhythm. Southampton have been strong, whether in defence or attack. And they've just been too disruptive of the Robins. Syme. A bit of a push in the back there. But now, Ellie Brazil chasing down again on the hunt to get Southampton a third, but Bentley able to just get it away. Vera Jones just looking slightly frustrated there as the ball is sent back for a free kick. And Southampton send it goalward as far as they can. McAloney back to Collett. He finds McAloney again, who tries to cut in and tries to draw out a little bit of space. Collett doing very well to shield the ball there, actually. She's pushed into the corner and no stress at all for Southampton as the clock does tick over at 94. They're just going to be waiting out the rest of this now. And there is the full-time whistle.